Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of my F122 modded Myteam career mode for episode number... what episode are we on? 6? I think it's episode 6 for the Belgian Grand Prix today here in this episode. And first of all, thank you very much guys. As of recording the commentary for this video, I've just hit 100 subscribers. So the channel's been growing pretty crazy in the new year. I think I only had about 50 or so coming into the new year, so welcome everyone on board, I guess, and I hope I can continue to entertain you going through this new year. But in the meantime, we're going to do some upgrades. Just bought a front downforce upgrade to balance it out. I think we had a rear downforce upgrade in the last episode, so keep that balanced. We have a couple of extra resource points left over, so we can get a durability upgrade. They're going to be quite important. And then yeah, speaking of durability, actually, look at his gearbox. It's gone. Now we're about a third of the way through the season. We're probably going to take the second column of engine components. Maybe not on the energy store and control electronics. I want to try and eke out a couple more races with them if I can. Otherwise we'll be taking a penalty towards the end of the season. But in the standings, P6 in the constructors, P9 in the drivers. Looking quite good actually. I think the season's going pretty well so far. But we have one of these department events then. And they want us to upgrade his facilities and we get some team acclaim for it. For 50k, I think we might as well do it. Hopefully by the halfway point we can hit that level 10 on the acclaim and unlock a new sponsor. That'd be good. But for now we carry on and we have another department event. This time we have a breakthrough in R&D development, and the chassis department say it's best placed to get a discount on these heave dampers, but we're going to decline and get the 800 resource points. I'm pretty sure even if we do end up buying the heave dampers anyway, we'll still end up with more resource points than what we had. So let's see, we got 800, so we must have had 211. And if we buy the heave dampers, they only cost 713 as it is. So yeah, I think we ended up profiting from that in the end, so nice. But yeah, plenty of upgrades ready to come in. We have a weight reduction upgrade that does come in for the Belgian Grand Prix, and that's going to be a big help, I'm sure. As we go to look at the performance comparison chart, we do re-overtake Toyota only just, but it looks like a lot of the teams are still very close. Red Bull, Mercedes and Ferrari obviously in their own world, but let's go to qualifying, see what happens. Here we are then at the end of Q1. Now I've done my banker lap already. We're going to go out for our second push lap. A lot of understeer going into T1. I think I just carried a bit too much speed in, but we get a decent enough exit as it is. And I am quite good at Spa relative to the AI, so we should be pretty high up there today. I would have thought, maybe even challenging for points. That's what I'd like. But we'll see what happens then on this push lap. We're actually in P13 already, so we might not have even needed to go out again, but we'll see what happens as we come round the right-hander. I just, yeah, drop the rear and bottle yet another qualifying round, but thankfully his banker lap were enough to get us into Q2, along with his rival Sonoda. So yeah, let's keep pushing and see what happens. I'm gonna learn from my mistake and make sure I do a banker lap in Q2 and don't just go out at the end. So yeah, that's just me doing that. Again, a bit of understeer into T1. I'm running a pretty low downforce setup actually to get more top speed in Sector 1 and Sector 3. And it looks like it's working out for us actually with that. With getting into Q2, you would have thought it's helped us out. But there's his banker lap. That's P14. We're going to go out for a push lap and see where we end up. And again, massive understeer into T1. I just can't seem to hit the apex of that corner at all. But we get a better exit once again, so I think we're going to be okay. We're going to try and not to bottle the lap this time, like we did in Q1. But we'll see what happens then as we charge down the Kemmel Straight. We're about even with us as banker lap as it stands. But we're going to look for that 50 metre board, chuck the car in, and this time we're going to bottle it on this corner. And yeah, that's going to be yet another qualifying session bottled. It seems on these push laps, I don't know what happens on these push laps, I always just seem to bottle it, but P14 then we're going to be on the grid. I'm happy enough with that. Got the two Jaguars in front of us though, so we're going to be wanting to get in front of them. And yeah, let's go to the Grand Prix and see what happens.
We're in Belgium once again for today's round of the Formula One World Championship. It's a race that the great Ayrton Senna won 6 times, and in 2019, Charles Leclerc became the first driver to take their maiden win here since Michael Schumacher back in 1992. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Russell, Charles Leclerc and Hamilton, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Ricciardo and Esteban Ocon, Magnussen, Tsunoda, Pierre Gasly, Evans, Mick Schumacher, Albon, Lance Stroll and Sebastian Vettel, Bottas, Latifi, Nissany and Guan Yu Zhou. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Alright, in terms of strategy, it's just going to be the one stop. We're going to start on the hard tyres, switch it up a bit. I just kind of prefer being on the mediums at the end, being on the quicker tyre at the end of the race. But with all that sorted, let's wait for those 5 red lights to go out, and away we go then for the Belgian Grand Prix. Not the best start as per usual. A couple of cars getting us off the line, but as we go into T1 we're going to get those positions back and maybe more, as we have a cheeky look up the inside of Ocon, but he's going to get the better exit. And speaking of better exits, look on his left hand side, there's Yuki Tsunoda in the Jaguar, pulls right back ahead of us, and we're back down into P14 as we go up the hill then down the Kemmel Straight in the slipstream. A bit of ERS used as well for good measure, but there's a very quick looking Andretti Haas in as mirrors as we look to the inside of Tsunoda. He's very early on the brakes, and we're going to say thank you very much and take that position back. But as we go through the left-right kind of chicane, bit of a squirm on the rear for me and Tsunoda, but we just about manage to get that P13. So we can go chasing after this pack then and see if we can make a couple of moves. We have got Magnussen up there. I quite fancy Ocon making a move on Magnussen at some point, so we just might have to play the patient game here. But yeah, we're going to have to be very patient because not much happens for a few laps. Here we are skipping forward onto lap 9 and things are still the same. No one's made any moves or anything. We do however have a yellow flag, and there's a very slow car up ahead of us, and I think that's the Jaguar of Pierre Gasly. That's going to be very important for the championship. Gasly obviously in that Jaguar, that's who we're fighting in this championship, and he's out of the session, as is the other Jaguar of Yuki Tsunoda. So what happened there? Let's have a look on the replay camera. Here's Gasly going slowly. He's obviously got some kind of engine issue there, as a couple of cars go past. There's us, we go past. There's Tsunoda, and he just clips that rear tyre of his teammate, and with simulation damage, that's his race over. That's huge for us. If we can go on and score points now, that's going to be very important for our championship. We come into the pits under the safety car, get that free pit stop. It does mean we're going to have to take the mediums a couple of laps longer in this race, but we'll have a couple of laps under the safety car as well, so we should be alright, you know. We'll just have to see what happens. There's a bit of an issue getting the tyre on the front left, but no damage done in the end. We come back out in MP12 where we went in, so on lap 11 onto lap 12 then we're going to get the racing back underway here at Spa, but not the best safety car restart, it's got to be said, and we've got as mirrors full of that Williams, that BMW Williams car of Alexander Albon. After last race, he is the last person I want anywhere near me, but he's having a bit of a go at us, you know. He's going to go around the outside. Are we going to go side by side into Radion? That's the last person I want to do that with, but he just backs out of it. But now he's going to have a bit of a run down the Kemmel Straight. We just don't quite give him that space to go around the outside, so he backs out of it. He's now side by side with the Audi of Zhou Guanyu. Now them going side by side, that's going to slow them right down, and we managed to get a little bit of a gap. It looks like the Audi gets ahead in the end, but now we've got nearly a 2-second gap to close down to Esteban Ocon, so that's not ideal. But we come towards the end of lap 12. If you remember, we all pitted under the safety car except for this man Max Verstappen. I don't see any damage on his car at all, but he's coming into pit, which leads me to believe he didn't pit under the safety car, so that's an absolute howler of a strategy call by Red Bull. We're going to get a free position, and that's going to be Verstappen out of the points, and for us, we're only one position behind the points itself, so that could blow this championship wide open with that very poor strategy call from Red Bull. So yeah, not really sure what happened there, but we're going to lap 14. Here's Magnussen. He's having a bit of a look at the McLaren Mercedes of Ricciardo. He's got the rear wing open, Magnussen has, and he's just going to cruise past on the straight, and that's Magnussen up into P8, and with them scrapping, that's let us catch right back up on the end of lap 14. And I think Ricciardo's got an issue. He's going slowly and he's held up Ocon, and we're going to go round the outside of Ocon and maybe even get a double overtake as we go side by side with Daniel Ricciardo now. He's going to back out of the left-hander, and that's going to be 2 overtakes for the price of 1 as we're up into P9 now, up into the points positions, and we're on the medium tyres, so you would have thought we might even have the pace to catch Magnussen. We could be looking at a potential P8 here, while both of our rivals have DNF'd. Now, we get a bit of an odd message there, as engineer telling us there's an issue with the engine, but the ERS deployment all looks fine, and obviously we're not retiring from the race at all, so yeah, no idea what the issue is. Maybe we're down on power perhaps, but the setting is enabled for the player to get mechanical failures. That's normally what the engineer tells you before you get a mechanical failure, but everything seems alright, so very weird, very odd. I'm not sure what happened there, but we're on lap 16 then. We've got Ocon still behind us. We've closed a couple of tenths to Magnussen, but when Ocon gets that DRS open, he just flies back past us, but once again he's early on the brakes into this kind of right, left, right, this little section of the track, and we're back ahead of him then. But I really don't want to be wasting time scrapping with Ocon. I want to be chasing after Magnussen with the tyre advantage we have. That's what we need to be doing right now, and that is exactly what we do as we come on to the second to last lap of the Grand Prix. It's been a pretty quiet race actually. Nothing's really happened in the midfield or anywhere really. No one's been having any scraps, and we've just been keeping us head down and yeah, catching up to Magnussen. So here we are then, second to last lap. Could we be possibly scrapping for the points on the last lap of this race? It happened before, and it looks like it's happening again here at Spa, as we have a bit of a look up the inside, but the other guy's a lot later on the brakes than me into the bus stop chicane, but we managed to fend off Ocon, and now we're only a couple of tenths behind Magnussen going on to the last lap of the Grand Prix. Can we get that P8? It'll be 2 extra points for us, absolutely crucial, while his rivals are having a pointless race basically with them both DNFing. But you can see there, as tyres are starting to go off, those hards will be the faster tyre, but it's not going to matter much in a straight line once we get that DRS open. 6 tenths the gap now. That's going to come right down as we have the DRS open on the Kemmel Straight. Now we're 4 tenths, about 4.5 tenths. It's kind of around that area as we come into Sector 2 then, chasing after Magnussen. So green Sector 1 though, so we are going a bit quicker. Maybe that DRS helping us out there, and the fuel being burned off as well, but a massive wash of understeer there. The tyres are definitely starting to go off a little bit here, which is the last thing we want, as we're chasing Magnussen down on this last lap through Pouon. We get a pretty decent run through there as we come into this kind of long sweeping chicane, getting a wheel up on the curb. You've got to be careful doing that. It's one very easy way to spin the car. But anyway, we come on to this last corner in Sector 2 into Sector 3, this kind of lower downforce setting that we're setup that we're running. We'll get into the slipstream. We're going to use all the ERS we have left, and if you look very carefully at the back of Magnussen's car, you're going to see that red light come on. Magnussen's out of ERS. We have it as we go into this final corner of the bus stop chicane. He's later on the brakes than us, but we have a bit more mid-corner speed, and we're side by side coming out of the bus stop chicane. It's going to be a drag race to the finish line, but we get just a little bit of wheel spin there, and in the end it's going to be P8, but I'm happy enough with that. P9, sorry, not P8. We were fighting for P8, but we got P9, but still I'm happy enough with that. That's 2 points we scored that our rivals, that Jaguar, didn't.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today, and a stunning win for Ferrari.
So it's Ferrari and Carlos Sainz who wins the Belgian Grand Prix with, that's Perez and Russell on the podium as well. So I'm not sure where Leclerc is. He hasn't been having the best season so far. We'll see what that means for the championship in just a sec as the podium celebrations get underway. And it's nice to see Carlos Sainz a race winner in game as well as in the real world. So some parallels between the real world and our alternate universe here. But Verstappen out of the points. Sainz winning the race, and then Russell and Perez. We'll see what that means for the championship in just a little bit. But let's have a look, see where his teammate finished. He's right down in P18. He did beat the Williams and the Toyota though, so that's quite important for him. But I think it's still going to be... I don't think either of those three drivers have scored points. But let's have a look at the standings then. Verstappen's lead down to only 11 points now. It's Russell in P2, and Sainz overtakes Hamilton. He's only 20 points behind, so it's really spiced things up a bit for us. We're still in P9, but Alonso's on a bit of a comeback after his pretty dismal start to his season. So I don't think we're going to hold on for that P9 much longer. But yeah, we've scored points on Tsunoda. That's quite important, as teammates still not yet scoring points, unfortunately. But then again, neither has the Williams or the Toyota. In terms of the constructors, we're now 3 points ahead of Jaguar, so very important there. Haas making up a position. But Red Bull only 9 points in the lead. But guys, thank you very much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, you know which buttons to click. If you could hit like and subscribe if you haven't already, that would be very much appreciated. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.